well, not Midwest, but
where we are.
Where we are in Indianapolis. I know he played in
We're mid
Columbus.
almost. We're close.
Kind
We're
of
on
close,
the
yeah.
way to mid.
Middle, anyway.
Right.
So Belfatto is on another loam deck here, and this is a Jund loam deck.
Against Punishing Jund, which is a deck that is popular on the East Coast, and see it played a lot. And here I haven't really seen much of it, but it's a powerful deck. It almost looks like a modern deck when it has. Yeah, I mean maybe not this. Let's look at this list real quick to make sure it's very similar. Yeah, it has Bloodbraid Elf, has Deathrite Shaman, Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidant. All the modern creatures in the Jund deck. Maelstrom Pulse, Abrupt Decay, Punishing Fire if it wasn't banned would be in there, Lightning Bolt, Thoughtseize, Liliana the Veil, all modern cards. And then you have to add, of course, Hymn to Turok and Sylvan Library.
Yeah, Belfatto on, it's basically another Jund deck, and, relying on 4 copies of Life from the Loam. This particular version does run 1 copy of Seismic Assault, which we did not see in the earlier Loam list. Just as another win condition, he's got Deathrite Shaman, Eternal Witness, Tarmogoyf, and Dark Confidant as his creature suite.
Something I want to point out about Deathrite Shaman here, and you're seeing this. Well, we're seeing this match. It's a lot better in Legacy than Modern because there's always a fetch land to be had.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're at the point of the game where looks like Michael has lots of land and Tony has no lands. So looks like Wastelands have done their job.
And Michael's cycling a Tranquil Thicket after Tony resolves a Dark Confidant.
He's going to dredge here, I think.
Tony up a game here.
Interesting, I didn't fan out his graveyard. Almost all these dredge decks do because you don't want to miss cards in your graveyard that you hit. You really have to have a stellar memory.
So he dredges up that Life from the Loam, hits Liliana, Tarmogoyf, and Abrupt Decay. So
Money
those are
spells.
some cards he would like to have, but he does have an additional Abrupt Decay in hand that he uses to take out that Dark Confidant, and now casting Life from the Loam and bringing back some of those lands.
The old Ancestral Recall. 4 lands.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 2 lands at cantrip, so he gets to draw some cards here. It looks like Tony's packing it up. Being up a game, on 2 land, you're seeing tons of land over there. It's not worth playing out, and want to hurry up and get to game 3 with plenty of time to spare. In this matchup, I think it's a pretty even matchup. You have a deck here on Tony's side with Jund that has powerful cards like Liliana, Hymn to Turok, and a turn 2 Liliana is pretty good through Deathrite Shaman. Obviously, it doesn't do the most things against Loam because you can just pitch worthless land, but she's still no joke. And Hymn to Turok, another thing. If you hymn somebody, hymn Michael here, and he doesn't have the Life from the Loam in hand, and he's banking on using his other package here, the Tarmogoyf and Dark Confidant, to get to that point, and you hit those, you can put yourself in a good shot to win here.
Yeah, both of these guys' decks overlap quite a bit. You see a lot of the same cards, and even the same numbers in a lot of cases too. You've got the Tarmogoyf, you've got the Deathrite Shaman. Tony has Bloodbraid Elf, where he does not have Eternal Witness. Of course, doesn't really fit as much into the strategy, but Deathrite Shaman, Deathrite Shaman, Tarmogoyf, and Dark Confidant overlap. Abrupt Decay. You've got Lilianas in both lists.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of overlap. And so yeah, I could see. It would be nice to have seen a little bit more of a game there. Game 2, it felt like can't get too much of a grasp on the way that the games play out. These are
Tony has Surgical Extraction on the board, which is going to be definitely a powerhouse here, a player in this game. If you hit that Life from the Loam with a Surgical Extraction, that usually will do it. Basically turns Michael's deck into a worse Jund deck once he loses Life from the Loam.
Very good point. And he's got 3 copies of Surgical Extraction there.
Right.
So presumably he didn't see any game 2 there. We didn't see any indication that he had one.
Right, and he actually has his own copy of Life in the Loam to use with his Wastelands or main deck. And a lot of these decks that play 3 Wasteland main, they usually play the Life in the Loam in the main deck, even the 1-up. Legacy has a unique avenue for victory when it has just the fact that you can just play Wastelands and then just take away somebody's ability to cast their spells without casting a spell to do it.
Right.
Is a pretty integral part of the format. And it honestly is a good control. Otherwise, people would just go willy-nilly with their dual lands and play whatever they want. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've heard similar kind of discussion surrounding Modern being so, with all the fetch lands and the shock lands, and you have these mana bases that are, just original duels short of legacy, really.
Right,
and so you have these crazy mana bases that people can stretch, putting Lingering Souls in Jund,
and
for example. Right?
Path to exile somebody and they just don't search for anything.
Sure, so Path to Exile is pretty good
right,
in a format like that, but it you kind of feel like you want a Wasteland for Modern just because of that. But,
Tectonic Edge is played, but turn 4 is no turn 0 here, turn 1.
Right.
So Tony Payton is going to go ahead and mulligan here. He is on the play, so we're going to 6 on the play. Looks like Michael's keeping. Oh man, let's just see if his 6 here can combat a strong loam hand from Michael.
Yeah, and he's on the play, so down a card on the play. He's going to need a reasonably strong opening. I do see a couple of, I believe he has at least 2 lands. I could be seeing it wrong. There's a tiny little window there of the screen. But I think he's got 2 lands. He looks like he's keeping. Okay, so he's got a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman from Tony Payton. Yeah. Belfatto leads with a Tranquil Thicket.
I see a Punching Fire in Belfatto's hand, so the Deathrite Shaman is not long for this world. Deathrite Shaman looks like it would be a good answer for life or for Punching Fire, but it never will have the ability to do so, really.
Yeah, the opportunity usually has passed. By the time the Punishing Fire is in the graveyard, it's probably already cast.
If he has a Grove, Tony's hand is Dark Confidant and Deathrite, so he's going to have to, but I think he has Surgical, so he's going to be able to, once he used that Punishing Fire, be able to Surgical the Punishing Fires, and then be able to have a safe Dark Confidant. But then again, Michael has a load of cards. Who knows what he's holding here?
So he does not have the Grove. Goes with a turn 2 Tarmogoyf. After taking
I'm not sure what
bit
lands
of hit
Michael
from
has here. Does he? Yeah, I see Liliana. I see Punching Fire. I see one other land. I think it looks like another interesting. It's a little Wasteland. Okay, so he has a lot of colorless land.
Well, Tony's got Grove.
Oh, he has his own Grove, and this is gonna be the first time a Tarmogoyf has got Punching Fire. I think.
Yeah.
Legacy.
So Punishing Grove combo from Tony Payton.
That is a rarity. I have never seen that personally.
Well, that's a little tiny Tarmogoyf, so it was right in the line of fire. I don't remember seeing that in Legacy. And look at that, Tony's going to go very aggressively removing the Tarmogoyf.
Oh no, because Tarmogoyf, you can beat Tarmogoyfs.
And he's going to show a hand
triple Liliana, Life from the Loam. Then again, Michael's hand is really bad because he had double colorless land. But the main thing about Michael's hand I don't like is the triple Liliana. Obviously, he kept it with 2 Lilianas, but after drawing that 3rd one, that's pretty bad. So Tarmogoyfs are gone. Do you think you would have done that?
I wouldn't have used it on a Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's just a dude. It's nice to take that out of the way, but I think, like you mentioned, Michael's deck kind of it doesn't need the Tarmogoyfs to win.
Especially as a Deathrite Shaman in play, so you can actually control the graveyard size too. And the only way, maybe you have the read that Michael might have had another Tarmogoyf in hand, but I don't think so. I still don't think you do that. We'll see what happens. Michael drew for turn. Doesn't look like he has any plays besides Wasteland here and Wastelanding Tony, which you do because obviously your colorless green lands aren't that great. If I was Michael, I would have mulligan here. You can't really cast any of your spells besides Tarmogoyf. And I think Michael definitely Wastelands the right card there.
Yeah.
Because he can't... Well, actually, he can just use Deathrite Shaman and play Dark Confidant here, so Tony is just A-okay with that.
And look at that Life from the Loam hanging out in Michael's graveyard. I mean, it's a nice juicy target for a surgical extraction.
Right.
Even though there's only one in his deck. I believe there's only one.
God, if Tony had the surgical extraction still, he would hit that, and I think this game would be over. Did he attack and not play Dark Confidant? Can he play Dark Confidant? He could tap that for black?
He could have.
And play Dark Confidant.
I believe just removed a land and played Dark Confidant. He did attack instead.
For 1 damage?
I believe so. So, Life in the Loam being dredged back from Michael Belfatto, and you know, it's very interesting. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, I got the deck list mixed up. They were switched. Michael has 4 Life in the Loam, and of course that Surgical Extraction would have neutered Michael's deck.
Right. Well, if Tony doesn't realize that Deathrite Shaman's half your mana real soon, he's gonna realize he's gonna be on the wrong end of a beating here.
Top deck's a Lightning Bolt.
Oh, he lost his other land.
Now
so
he lost his
it's too
other
late.
land because Belfatto just used Life in the Loam to get back the Wasteland last turn after wastelanding
Oh
Tony's
man,
one land.
Tony has to be kicking himself. He could have Surgical Life in the Loam. He could have had a Dark Confidant and play flipping cards right now. And now instead, Michael turns this 2-land terrible hand into, you know,
something. Yeah, he's got something to work with.
He's
And
in the Lightning Bolt here.
Tony only has a 1/2.
Right, he's going to bolt that 1/2 right here. So before he's going to do it before he or Punishing Fire here before he realizes that the Deathrite can even do mana things.
Yeah, Punishing Fire on the Deathrite Shaman.
And Deathrite Shaman could have removed Michael's Wasteland too.
Yeah,
If he didn't attack.
could have removed Wasteland. Could have removed Life in the Loam.
Oh man, this is rough. I think maybe Tony's a little flustered here.
Yeah, I think he
Oh, he knows the
didn't maximize that Deathrite Shaman.
No, definitely not.
Also didn't maximize the Surgical Extraction.
Yeah, I think-
especially. I was thinking I didn't like it. I was thinking Michael's deck for some reason was the one with the 1 Life in the Loam. The fact that he has 4, I definitely didn't like the Surgical Extraction because Extraction on Loam, just like you said, makes Michael's deck into kind of a bad Jund deck.
I'm just very shocked. And it comes with practice. Maybe Tony hasn't played a lot with Deathrite Shaman, but that creature, the reason why it's so valuable in this format, is warped this format, is because of the mana making ability more so than the other things.
And there's Liliana of the Veil going to make Tony discard a card, and Michael's going to discard a Liliana, his extraneous copy.
Tony's down to 1 land, facing Liliana at 4. Tony is feeling like he wants to walk out of the building, I think. This is a rough when you're down in the land. I don't know if he realizes what could have been.
And you see Life in the Loam dredged back yet again from Michael Belfatto. He's going to... he has the Life in the Loam back in his hand, another Wasteland in Belfatto's graveyard, so whenever Tony decides he wants to get a land, it better be a basic, and I don't know that he's got that many. Let's switch these because I keep looking at I'm so used to lining them up with where the players are sitting, sure. I get confused. 1 forest, 1 swamp. Those are the only basics in Tony's deck, so he's going to have to go for a swamp, basic swamp really, otherwise he's going to get wastelanded further out of the game. So Liliana now on 5, alongside a Deathrite Shaman on Michael's side of the board. Tony with just a lone Bloodstained Mire, and I think he's drawn a second one.
Another Bloodstained Mire.
Right. I mean, he could.
I guess he could wait till 1 more turn and see if he can get a Maelstrom Pulse. That's his only chance, but he's not. He's just going to play a Dark Confidant that's just immediately dead. He knows Michael's hand. He knows he has Lightning Bolt. He knows he has Liliana at 5. So he's just throwing it out for slaughter, and then he's going to get wastelanded out of the game. Obviously, he gets force.
Question from Twitter, but I think question from Twitter is how did Tony play that spell? Is what he's saying. I assume he's referring to Surgical Extraction after Punishing Fire on Tarmogoyf. He paid the Phyrexian mana on Surgical Extraction. It was a free spell. That's why he had paid 2 life to do it. So he didn't need the mana. I don't know if Mark Hahn, I'm referring to you, if that clears it up for you. I assume you were talking about Surgical Extraction.
Yeah.
So, Belfatto's going to activate his Deathrite Shaman.
And then bolt the Confidant. Or he didn't bolt, he did some other things. So he just did the 2 damage. He has a bolt and he has Punching Fire, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't have Grove yet. Grove was on Tony's side of the board, but Again, dredges the Life of Malone back into his hand.
Here comes the
And
Wasteland.
he's going to waste the Bayou.
I
over
saw
there.
Tony have a flip past a forest. You could have got a forest there, but he opted to.
Wasn't it double Bloodstained Mire? Then he
Oh,
couldn't
you're
get
right,
a
right,
forest,
yeah. But yeah,
He-
I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was either basically he got his only option. One basic swamp.
What he
and then-
needed to do there was wait till he hit 3 mana of the Maelstrom Pulse Liliana. But then again, at this point, he knows Michael has 2 more Lilianas. He is just treading thin water here. So Tony draws. I don't think
Yeah, says
he's
go.
just going through the motion. He's going to get Grim Lava Mancered out of the game. The other Deathrite Shaman ability. Even better, actually. You're playing a group game. I think it says each opponent. And draws here.
Yeah.
Fistful of cards. Michael's complete control. Tony's stretching here and just making the time go by a little faster.
Inquisition shows Liliana, Dark Confidant, and Maelstrom Pulse. Looks like, is that Liliana that he dumped?
Yeah, and then Lily's going to get plus here. He's going to discard another one.
Yeah.
Just non-stop.
So discard. What? Oh, it wasn't Lily. It was Dark Confidant that went away, and now he discards Lily. And left with a Maelstrom Pulse in hand.
In our discussion this weekend, when you're talking about playing it out versus not playing it out, what do you feel right now? Are you still cool with it?
At this, Tony extends the hand there. It wasn't. He was trying to stay in it. I don't mind that.
Right.
Still time left in the round. It is game 3. He isn't trying to get to another game so that he has time to play it. This is game 3, and unfortunately for him, he just ended up in just a bad situation. Sometimes the cards don't fall.
Well, I think
he put himself in.
These are self-inflicted wounds for Tony. It's
some of those
Michael. Obviously, Belfatto is a experienced open player, and a lot. I mean, we had a winner yesterday in Mr. Lou, who won through everything, and then he was a new player.